Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again. What a great show we've got lined up for you. Amongst other things, we'll be going to Valencia to see Her Royal Highness Princess Keisha Omilana, because we're going to the market. Nick, our lovely chef, will be making pinchos de pollo, and Hannah, in All Things Books, will be talking about romantic novels set in Spain. Maria and I will be sitting talking about a couple of things that we think are important. How to protect your home against burglars. And then Paula will be joining us to talk about end of days. We are all going to go there, and maybe we should be making plans not just for a funeral, but if we don't die immediately, what's going to happen then? Yes, bit of a tricky subject, but something that perhaps we should discuss more often. Christina Secoli will be joining us, and our legal team will be answering a question regarding their award from the Sunday Times newspaper. But don't forget, Nando Brown is here with Kate on the sofa. Nando's going to be talking about collars and our dogs, and Kate doing some simple sofa exercises. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How was the weekend?
I had a great weekend.
I've seen you've been busy.
I have, yeah. I went out on some motocross bikes with a team called Dust Devils, and we went all around the Campo, and I'm aching.
Amazing.
I am absolutely. It was brilliant, phenomenal bit of kit, but I'm in bits. Like every part of my body, I can feel it.
It's crazy though, isn't it? Because you wouldn't think, like, even being on a motorbike, that you would be in so much pain. Would
But I
you?
suppose you're really gripping, aren't you? And when you're doing a cross country like you are, going around all those like tufts and turns, there's a lot of muscles involved.
I think if you're good at it, you're probably a lot more relaxed
Or maybe
than
do
I
it more
was.
often.
So yeah, I think I was a bit too tense and trying to force my way around. But the guys that know what they're doing, and the guys that I went out with, were brilliant.
Wow.
They really knew what they were doing, and they kind of got off and went, well, that was a good day. And I kind of got off and went, I think I might have died. So no, it was great.
Well,
Really
lovely
good.
to see you, like, at least capable of driving and getting into the studio. A gathering you didn't come on your bike.
I did not come on the bike.
Well, Kate's got some lovely little exercises for us today, which I do like. They're just so up my street, and I'm imagining for many of the viewers, it's hard to get off the sofa, but if we can do some exercises while we're sitting comfortably.
As you say, these ones are so nice and easy, aren't they? Like, you don't even need to move from the sofa. So
I'm in.
perfect for you now, Nando. So, and do you know what? So this is just a minute of your day. So, as I say, you just take a nice, comfortable seat on the sofa, and we're just going to start off by doing some marching. So, literally, we're just going to get the blood flowing, lifting our legs, just doing some marching. As I say, getting the blood flowing, and we do this for 10 seconds.
I can manage that.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
Do we get a nap afterwards?
Definitely. And then after we do the marching, we just place our feet on the floor, and then we just start raising our toes. So if you're like me, I've got popcorn ankles. And as I say, we just raise our toes, just nice. And obviously you don't need to stretch too much. You don't want to do any pain.
Reminds me of in ballet lessons, which I did very few of, but they was like, if you pointed your toes, they were good toes, and when you lifted them up, they were bad toes.
The bad toes.
And even that hurt me, pointing my toes, like so much effort.
I can feel that in my shins.
You can, can't you?
It's amazing. And then
Well,
once
particularly you with your damaged muscles.
Yeah, poor you in so much pain. And then what we're going to do next is we're just going to lift our ankles. So just nice little movements, lifting the ankles up and down. So I don't know about you, but I can feel my calves
I
already.
can also, yes.
Yeah.
Just such a simple movement.
It's so nice, isn't it? But you just feel that nice little stretch.
This
down
is something
the
you could
back.
do on the plane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, that'd probably be very
really good.
on the plane, isn't it? Because when you're sitting down for a long time in the same position, even on the train, and when you sit for a long time.
As you say, you can start doing the closing down of the eyes, the breathing, the lifting of the ankles. And then with the next exercise we're going to do, so this one you do need a little bit of a space, but you just lean back and you just lift your legs, pointing your toes to the ceiling.
Oh, and pointing the toes.
So yeah.
Oh, we're going up.
Going
Toes
up.
are going up.
So
right,
toes
right,
are
here we
going
go.
up to the ceiling. There we go. So we're just feeling the blood all running down our legs to our knees, circulation. And then with the next one, so we do need our legs still up, I'm afraid.
I was doing, get them up.
Do you know what? Or we can just go, so we can do one at a time. So we just start rotating the ankles. So we can do 10 seconds on one side and then 10 seconds on the other side.
Little ankle rotation. Nothing like a bit of turning the ankles.
Just Just a bit of flow
But it's funny
going
because you
on.
can feel it in all weird places.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Say, full body, isn't it? As you say, this is great for you after the weekend. Well,
I'm still waiting for the nap. Yeah.
And then with the next one, so then you just raise your toes up and down.
Oh,
with this
try
one
two
as well.
together. Look how high you're raising your legs. Look at my off the floor.
We're getting a proper workout, isn't it?
So you feel that in your belly as well.
I know.
It's fun without even moving from the sofa.
I know.
Quite simple.
I mean, this is going to look a little bit strange on the plane, but fair play.
It'll definitely be a conversation starter.
But it is important to get the blood circulating.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you spend a lot of time sitting on a computer or whatever. You just get these positions and we can, yeah, very good.
And as you say, you can literally just do it on the sofa. Oh God, I'm
Those
really...
popcorn ankles. Popcorn ankles. Now I know what you meant about popcorn ankles.
So yeah, just really, really simple ones. And even if you just want to finish off by just rotating as well, the wrists after you've been having the wrists on the sofa.
Well, doing this is actually funny. It's reminding me of the Spanish, you know, when they do the oles. But if you look, the upper area of Spanish ladies that dance sevillanas is perfect because it really works all the muscles that keep your boobs up.
Yeah.
No, really. It's something, so if you want an added incentive to do, but it is, by doing the turning of the hands, particularly when you've got them raised in that way of the sevillanas and what have you.
It's so pretty.
It's very good for your chest muscles. There you
Well,
go.
you get 3 in 1, so it's perfect.
There's a little bit of everything at the same time. Well, that is lovely. Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Nice and simple. And Nando, you're today going to chat about dog collars. When you said that, it was like, oh, I've known people that have lost dogs because they've left collars on and they've been in the campo, in the countryside,
Yeah.
got themselves cooked on something.
So, yeah, well, there's various different bits of kit that you can get for dogs when you're out walking or training dogs. And the main are either harnesses or dog collars. And today we're going to focus on dog collars. Because when you go into a pet shop, especially in Spain, there's a whole variety. And they do have some really, really cheap collars. Now, I've got to say, you need to steer away from cheap collars because they snap. Like the buckles will go, if you get cheap plastic, they can go, and sometimes the cheap leather can snap, and it's always at the worst point when you're next to the side of a road, that kind of thing. So you need to be really, really careful. But you're also going to see various other bits of kit. Something like this. Now this is a prong collar. It looks a bit kinky, doesn't it? I know, right? And this is a device that works on pain, okay? And basically, it fits around the dog's neck, and when it's tugged, the spikes stick into the dog's neck all the way around. Now, a lot of people will say that is the way that a mum dog would correct by biting the puppy. So it's a way of teaching. But the mum dog also licks the puppy's bum to get it to defecate. So if you're going to bite the dog, are you also going to lick? Like, this is a medieval piece of...
I'm so happy for this. I was wanting to see where you're going with this. I'm so glad you're not recommending it.
I'm definitely not recommending it. This is not mine. This was left in my van by somebody who used to borrow it, and I won't let them have it back because it's an absolutely brutal bit of kit. This should not be anywhere near your dog, okay? And just like that, you can also find other bits of kit like these. These are electric shock collars. Now,
Gosh.
this, again, works on pain. Now, a lot of people say, well, it feels like a TENS machine. So if we turn it on, right, there
Sit
is...
back, keep your distance.
Let's have, who's going to be brave enough just to touch it? Now, I'll show you. It's on the lowest level, and when it's on the lowest level, you can barely feel it. Try
Okay,
that.
should we have a little try?
Yeah. Right, you've got to make sure both prongs are on you.
Okay.
Okay, now that's level 1.
I can't even feel anything.
Yeah.
Don't tempt him.
Now, what happens is as you go up the levels, all of a sudden it gets quite...
Oh, okay, yeah. As you say, it's not like it hurts, but it does
It's
just
like-
notify you.
Now, the problem is that a dog has absolutely no idea that this is on them, okay? So you put this on your dog, and you just put another collar on. And dogs have the habit of making these really suspicious connections, So they make an association. And what most people use this for is to punish the dog when they do something wrong. So let's say your dog has a problem with kids. In fact, let's say your dog has a problem with other dogs. And as soon as it sees another dog and they correct it by giving it a shock, if you get this wrong and it is looking at a child, all of a sudden the dog will go, whoa, that bit of pain came from that kid. If you do it too often and you make the wrong association, you can actually create a dog that's more aggressive and less safe to other things that you had no idea that you were accidentally doing it to. So these two bits of kit they are found in pet shops. Okay, you can buy these over the counter.
But don't.
Don't. Absolutely
I had a neighbour
don't.
who used that type of electric collar to keep the dog within the garden boundaries.
Yeah.
That was also very strange. Every time the dog went near the boundary, they would get this shock from that was just, for me, as you say, medieval treatment.
It's just, the thing is it's 2024 and there's just no need for it. I've got to turn that right down just in case I actually crank it on myself.
Sit there on the sofa.
They're just not necessary anymore. And now some more forward-thinking countries are banning them. So they're illegal in Scandinavia, they're illegal in Wales, electric shock collars, and they're soon to be illegal in the UK. But the thing is, if you're finding yourself reaching for something like this, instead of spending your money on that, you need to spend your money on a trainer who can teach you how to teach the dog. Because that's what you're aiming for, is you're aiming to teach the dog something. Even if it's you're saying, I don't want the dog to do this anymore, we've got to give them a focus. What do you want the dog to do instead? And this doesn't do that.
I have to say, I agree, the training, and it's us learning how to teach them. So it's like not taking these, because they're not even easy way outs. As you say, you could be actually giving them bad education and teaching them things
You really
to worry
can.
about.
It can be really, really scary.
What would you recommend, harness or collar? Or does
Well, it
depend
kind
on
of
the breed?
depends. So on my dogs, I use collars, just because they're easy and they're useful. They're very, like, harnesses are a bit of a pain to put on and off, but harnesses can be a great bit of kit. For instance, if you've got a dog who's bigger, having a harness on them gives them a little bit more control. If you've got a dog that slips out of collars easily, having a harness on them can be better.
It doesn't damage their bones or
It kind of depends on the harness itself, because there are harnesses out there that are poorly designed and they can create like muscle movement, which is really bad for the dog. It can restrict the dog's ability to move properly. But you can get harnesses that are designed really well.
Again, it's don't go for the cheapy
Don't go
rubbish.
for
Go
the
for
cheap
something
stuff.
that's worth it.
Yeah.
Do your research, and if you're in doubt, contact a dog trainer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like Nando, for example. Nando, thank you so much. Kate, thank you so much. Okay, let's see what's next.
What's that? Make my day. Make my day.
Remember, I was your hero. Yeah. I'd wear your heart like a
Good morning, Spain.
I couldn't
Good morning, Spain.
save you.
Good morning, Spain.
My darkest truth.
Good morning, Spain. Good morning, Spain.
I know.
Good morning, Spain. Buenos
Less
dias.
than zero. Oh yeah.
It's wonderful to welcome back to the programme Darren from Knockholes Law Firm, and of course our lovely Alex. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, Nicole.
How are you
Nice to
doing?
have you back in Spain.
It's great to be back in Spain. It's
What does it
fantastic.
feel like, in the sense of you work here, you come now and then, but you're based in the UK? Do you have that feel like so many Brits? I just want to go and move there.
I do think that. I mean, I'm very privileged. Yeah, I mean, it's great, being in England, but coming out here and meeting some wonderful people out here and just being part of the local community is, it's a real privilege. Yeah, a real privilege. So
Do
I
you
love
see
coming out.
the difference in the Brits when they're back in the UK and how they behave
Yes.
when they're here, and like their demeanour?
Yes, I think Brits when they're abroad they're slightly happier and more engaging, and perhaps that's for lots of reasons, because of the culture in Spain and the weather, and I think there is a difference actually.
Yeah, I noticed it myself.
I
but
see
when-
that as well.
It is a complete,
Definitely.
no matter where you are in Spain, the Brits, when they're abroad,
Yeah,
it's just,
I
they're
know,
nicer.
they're more engaging.
They're
yeah.
more engaging.
Yeah.
talking about engaging, we've received a communication from a lovely young lady, Sarah, and she is opening a new business. And it was very curious that she has made reference to when we talked about you guys being awarded the Sunday Times Best Company to Work For in Britain.
Yeah.
And opening a new company, she thinks that obviously the way one treats their staff is important. But if you can let her know exactly on what points they judged you, on what should an employer look to do for their employees to be even like contemplated and then
Yeah,
to
sure.
win.
Look, we're absolutely, I mean, we're very proud to have been nominated and then achieve one of the top 100 places to work for in the UK. In fact, we're the only law firm in the top 100 list. So we made it. We actually we're included in the list in 5 consecutive years, and we're still in the top 100 places to work for. And so what we did, we made a submission, but that's the end. It's then down to the staff. And so they get approached by the Sunday Times. There is a survey that is sent out, and we don't know who's replied and what they say, and so we only find out eventually as to what the outcome is. And we've been very fortunate to be included. But the kind of questions they ask for, it's not only about the salary and benefits. It's what it's like to work at the place in terms of how people feel, the opportunities they're given, the training, the development, how empowered they feel, and the overall picture of what it's like to work at Knockholds.
And I suppose all those things are positive, and since we see that you have a lot of women in the company and they've all got good positions, so you have no worries there about gender equality.
Yeah,
you seem to take people on their ability and not on their any other things. It's like, what can you do and most suitable?
We do, and the entire philosophy of the firm, which we're really proud of, is that our philosophy is that if we look after our people, they will look after the business and look after all our clients. I'm an employment lawyer back in the UK, and it astonishes me how many employers treat their people so badly. And I think if you create an environment where people feel empowered and part of something, then you get the most out of them, and they go that extra mile, and we call it the Knockholds family, and we're all part of it together. And to be part of something much bigger than your individual self is something, you spend most of your time at work, and we want people to be happy and to feel part of it, and it seems to be working. So
yeah, it definitely is very special. You couldn't actually have a better person to talk about all of this.
But you're very personable in the sense that every time that we've met and you've become the legal representatives for Good Morning Spain to share all your knowledge. But a lot of that has come down to the personality and how personable everybody is. And it doesn't matter whether you're the top qualified lawyer or a senior partner, to the people who are doing the administration. Everybody just seems so happy and so proud to be part of Knockholds.
Oh, it's fantastic that you see that. No, we're what you call a flat hierarchy, really. Everyone is treated equally. I love working with Knockholds. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm definitely part of the family.
I think what we want to do as well is that people come in at different levels in the firm, and we've always said that there's no glass ceiling. Anybody can do whatever they want, and so we invest heavily and we give training opportunities. And we have people that in the UK that came in as secretaries are now qualified lawyers. And I think to create and be part of an environment where people just feel they can do whatever they want just gives, and then what that does, that motivates people, and then the next generation, it kind of like cascades down to them. And so that's what we're trying to do.
It empowers you to feel like you can do whatever you want to do, which is fantastic.
I think it makes a big difference. I have to say, when I went to the linear director office, I just think they're also very good to their staff, but you see that when they're working as if they're working for themselves. They feel proud, and I imagine that's the same thing, and it does transfer through to the client.
Yeah.
If you're happy, as opposed, oh God, like in Spain, it's always like, good morning, how are you on Monday? The lunes, it's Monday.
Yeah.
And how was the weekend? Short. How are the holidays? Forgotten.
Yeah,
it's not inspiring when people really are happy to be there.
Yeah, and I think again having the UK operation, we've brought lots of lawyers over here to Spain, and I'm always very proud. They're just fantastic ambassadors, and just feel very proud to be part of the firm. So culture is a difficult thing, really. It doesn't take days or weeks, months, sometimes decades to build, but it's very fragile. So what we're trying to do is really just to support people and to give them opportunities and to support them not only in their professional life but in the personal life. So when people are going through some really tricky times in their lives, we always like to be there to give them time off and to support them and do what we can to make life.
It's not just about the money.
It's not about the money.
No, I would definitely. It was Sarah, was it? I would definitely say that you've just got to be flexible with your employees, talk to them, listen to them, and they will be as productive as they can for you. Motivate them, empower them, and
I like that, the empowering, in the sense you're not just micromanaging somebody, let them have their autonomy
Yeah.
and their responsibility.
yeah.
And if
Wise
peop-
words.
Yeah, and if people feel invested and they appreciate it, then they generally, you get more out of them and they feel part of it and appreciate it, and then everybody's really happy.
Well, we're happy to be part of the Not Colds family
Yeah,
as well.
great.
If you need any legal advice, please do contact either in the UK or here in Spain. Not Colds lawyers, they'll be delighted to help you out. Really delighted to help you out. Genuinely,
yeah.
they got an award to prove it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
thank you.
And now let's go over to Valencia. We're going to the market.
South Central dancing like nobody.
Good morning, Spain. I am Princess Keisha Omilana, your Valencia correspondent, and I cannot wait to share with you all things from Valencia. I am currently standing in front of the central market of Valencia. This beautiful market took 14 years to build, 1940 to 1928. It is the most popular market in Valencia, and it's well known to tourists and locals alike. People from all over the world love coming here for their fresh vegetables, their produce, souvenir shopping, and the inside is an art and a sight to behold. It is Art Nouveau, and I cannot wait to share with you what it looks like. Going grocery shopping has never been so chic and fabulous. If you're ever in Valencia, this is where you need to come to shop. So the great thing about coming to the market is that you get to experience generations of great food and produce. I'm standing with Pepe. Pepe, as you said, this market you've been here since your grandfather, is that correct? So your grandfather started here, and he worked with your father, and your father and grandfather worked together, and now you are with your father. And as you can see, the vegetables here are very, very fresh, and you agree that going to the market for fresh vegetables are much better and more healthier than the local market. Okay, and all of your fruits and vegetables are here.
You produce here.
Great. Well, thank you so much. What would you say your favorite fruit and vegetable are?
My favorite?
See,
Tomato.
tomato.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, when you're in Valencia, you need to come and see Pepe, and you have to get the tomatoes. Okay?
Hello.
I hear you have the best croquettes in all of Valencia.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
What makes your croquettes in this central market the best?
I think it's the best because the croquettes are very creamy, and if you taste one, you repeat, of course.
So you have lots of repeat customers.
Yes, because the croquettes are the flavor is amazing.
Well, okay. So in that case, I think I need to try some.
You must taste it. Yes.
Guys, I'm in the center of Valencia, and I'm in the center of this great market. As you can see, the ambiance is amazing. It's huge. It's over 8,000 square meters. It is beautiful inside. There are so many aisles. Sometimes you don't even know where to go, where to shop, what to get. I think you should just come and get everything. You want vegetables? They have it. You want fresh meat? They have it. You want wine? They have it. You want fish? They have it. You want meat? They have it. You want a whole head of a pig? They have it. When you're in Valencia, you have to come to the central market of Valencia for all things food, groceries, and fabulousness.
South Central dancing like no.
Good morning, Spain. Today I thought I would talk about romantic books set in Spain, a mixture of both fiction and a couple of memoirs thrown in as well. First of all, I wanted to mention the author Cherry Radford. She's an English author who lives in coastal Almeria, which is a southeastern province that borders both Granada and Murcia. She writes uplifting novels about becoming your true self and finding your romantic soulmate. She's written a trilogy of novels that are set in Almeria: The Spanish House, The Spanish Garden and The Spanish Cove, all published in 2022. In the first book, we meet the character of Juliana, whose uncle offers her the chance to discover her Spanish roots whilst house-sitting his coastal home in a quiet corner of Andalusia. He says, this is the good bit, that the house is hers if she fulfills 10 life-enhancing conditions within 90 days. Sounds great, doesn't it? But of course, things aren't as easy or as straightforward as they sound. Then we have the author Jo Thomas. She writes romances about food, love, family and fun, and believes that every story should have a happy ending. This book also came out in 2022. It's called Retreat to the Spanish Sun, and it's about the character of Eliza, who ends up with a full house after all 3 children have previously grown up and moved out, all come back again, and she feels the need to escape, so she goes to house sit in a rural finca in southern Spain, and she's looking after the owner's Iberico pigs, learning about secret gastronomic societies and basically finding a new zest for life along the way. Then we have Isabella Broom. She's the author of 10 escapist romantic novels, all set in different locations around the world. In 2017, she brought out a book called Then, Now, Always, which is set in Mojácar, also in Almeria. Her main character is called Hannah, who can't believe her luck when she's offered a trip to sunny Spain with her best friend and her dreamy boss. They're in Spain for a month to film a documentary. It's a dream come true, but people keep getting in the way of her enjoying a holiday romance. And finally, a couple of memoirs I wanted to mention. One called Only in Spain by Nellie Bennett. She's an Australian author, and the book is about a girl, Nellie, who fell in love with flamenco and with Spain. It all started in a Sydney dance studio. She's longing to get a more authentic experience, so she travels to the other side of the world, to Seville, to learn flamenco. She didn't realise that flamenco isn't a dance, it's a way of life. While she's there, she falls in love 3 times with a smoky-eyed dance teacher, a wild, tempestuous gypsy, and a tall, dark, handsome Basque chef. The Basque country is in the north of Spain. Not realising that all along it was really Spain that she falls in love with. And finally, I wanted to mention a memoir called A Curious Affair by Claire Hadland. She's a funny, or this book rather, is a funny, heartwarming account of an unlikely liaison between a restless English woman and an enigmatic Andalusian man. Claire was really fed up of commuting to her high-flying job in London, so she ditched her unfaithful husband and her marketing career to spend some time abroad. On her arrival in Guardo, which is a small northern town, she sets about brushing up her Spanish and making friends, but she meets Daniel, a rather peculiar man from the south of Spain. Just a few recommendations for you there. I've got the perfect romantic jumper on for you, completely by chance. Enjoy.
Make my day. Make my day.
and good morning and welcome to the food room. Today we are going to be making pinchitos de pollo or chicken skewers. Really simple recipe, bits of chicken just packed full of flavour. So I've got some chicken strips here and some chicken fillets. You could just get a breast and slice it up. You want them all to be the same size. We're going to get some lots of seasoning on here, then we're going to pan fry them and serve. It's as simple as that. So we're going to kick off straight away with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Very, very important. I've laid my fillets across the bowl here so I know when I'm seasoning I can give them an even coating. It's very easy just to whack it all in and mix them all up, but this way you know that each piece has got the same amount of seasoning on it. So we've hit that with a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to go in now with a little bit of smoked paprika, just a touch, a little bit of cumin. It's going to give this lovely yellow colour. A little bit of dried coriander. Okay, so we're going to put some fresh garlic in here. Just one clove. Going to give that a little slice along one way. A little slice the other. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt on top, and that's going to draw out the moisture and make it really easy just to turn into a paste. It's a nice little even pile there, just a little bit of salt on top. I'm going to leave that for 10 seconds and that'll draw out all the moisture. So we're going to get into the chicken here, a little bit of olive oil as well, just for when we move that chicken around and we can get it onto our sticks. It'll make it a lot easier, again, when we're pan frying it. If it's got a little bit of oil in it already, although our pan's got some oil, it's going to help to not stick. Garlic will be ready now, just drawing the knife across. Should be really easy just to go into a little bit of a paste. Effortless, see? Straight into the bowl, and this is the messy part. You could put on some gloves if you want to, but I don't mind chicken myself. So we're just going to get each of these really nicely mixed round, make sure they're nice and coated with everything we've put in. Then we're going to start sticking them onto the skewers. Take your time with this. You want to go in the middle if you can, all the way to the top, just leaving a little bit of this skewer out. Now, we're going to go straight into the pan with these, and they are literally going to take minutes. So this is a great lunchtime option. Great little tapper to have in the afternoon or for dinner. Okay, so let's start getting these skewers in the pan. Pan's been on, it's on a medium heat already. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. And we want to hear again that sizzle sound when we put the chicken in. That's the sound we're looking for. Nice sizzling, that means that the chicken is starting to seal off. So we're going to start adding our chicken pieces either side. So we're going to cook all this out all the way in the pan, but you could, if you wanted to, put them onto a tray, seal them off and then whack them into the oven. So if you're having a party or anything, you could do this beforehand, have them been sitting on a tray, ready just for a quick flash in the oven. So we're going to turn up this pan now. This is a really easy process because you'll be able to see, as the chicken gets cooked, you can see it from the side starting to cook. So you've got no worries about whether it's undercooked or not. Again, we can always take one off the skewer and cut it down the middle just to check afterwards if you're not too sure. So just keeping an eye on your chicken. You can have a little peek. It's the biggest mistake we all make now is to flip everything right now. And then we're going to flip it back over and cook again. So really we want to take our time with this and just let it cook. It's only doing its job, so we don't have to keep turning it around and around. We want to get a really nice crisp sear on one side, and as you can see the colour changing from over halfway through the fillet and the chicken breast there, then you know it's going to be cooked when you turn it over and just give it that extra little touch on the other side. So we get some really nice crisp colours. Just like that, nice, just over golden brown. And that already looks delicious. nice now. I'm just going to cover it up just for 2 minutes, just to finish off that chicken cooking. But this way the chicken will come out nice and moist. If we put it in the oven, it tends just to dry out a little bit too much because of that dry heat. Lovely colours coming along. One more minute on the other side. Let's have a little look. So when we're checking this now, we should just feel the resistance from the chicken when we give it a poke. If you want to, we can just take one out and give it a little cut down the side. No one's going to see. Open it up and you can see that the chicken's cooked all the way through. So we're happy. We're ready to plate up. Great opportunity just to move this chicken around just to get out any last bits of glaze or anything that's been left on the pan. And we're just going to plate these up like that. Okay, just like to finish these off with a little squeeze of lemon juice just over the top. It just really complements those spices we put in there. Little touch of chopped parsley and a little bit of salt. And that is my pinchos de pollo. Enjoy, guys. Now for the best part, a bit of bread. Just grab one of those pieces of chicken, just tear it off. Enjoy. That lemon really just sets it off. Delicious. Enjoy, guys. That's my pincho de pollo. And please send in yours.
Good morning, Maria.
Good morning.
It's so nice to see you, looking absolutely gorgeous. Love the dress.
You
Look
in
very
red.
pretty. Yes. Very empowered, a woman with a mission. I really would like to talk today about something that happened to you last year, quite out of the blue, unexpected. Yeah. You found that someone opened your door to walk in your house, and you said something quite curious, that was you couldn't think what to do, and then the only number you thought to ring was 911 for the police.
I've been watching too much American shows, clearly. But it was my immediate reaction was I should call 911. I actually dialed it and then thought, oh my God, wrong number. I'm in Spain. I need to call the right number. And fortunately, they were fabulous at the end of the phone and put me really at my ease. But it did make me think you need to be a little bit more careful about security.
We get lax. I often say that when we get to Spain, we leave the brain on the plane. And it does, somehow we feel that everything's okay, and particularly if you're in like a tourist or a summary area, we get very lax. And yet things do happen, and there are certain precautions we can take so people don't walk in our house. And if you do need the police, in Spain, a general number for the whole country is 112. In fact, that's an international number for looking for help. So 112, write it down, put it on your fridge. Put
it in your telephone as emergency, you know, so that it's easy for you to just go emergency or as A or 1, so that it appears the first telephone number.
But very important to know that number, 112. And then certain things that we can do. I know my parents got burgled when they were at home. Then they put the burglar alarm that they could turn on the upstairs as when they were downstairs, and vice versa, because obviously if you're in your home and people are there and you don't even know because you've got a big house, or just because of the way the distribution that they've climbed in through a balcony.
Yeah, and other things I think as well is, you know, if you're in a maybe a community or a garden, see if you can have the lights put on more time, because anything that just dissuades those people to enter the house or enter the community, all the better.
Sensor lights is a good one.
Sensor lights, yeah, or those little solar lights even that are not, you know, super expensive. Just you need to look at everything, you know, the security, the gates. Have a think of, if you were trying to break in, where would you break in? You know, the things like routines. Your routine, if it's very, very regular, get those little timers, switches. And I have a neighbour who does that, and often I'll come back and I think, oh, he's at home. No, he's got timer switches on his lights. So that will dissuade an opportunist. A lot of the time, you know, burglaries or robberies are opportunists.
And it makes a lot of sense. If you're in one room in the lounge and they can see that's where you're there, then they might think of going upstairs. But if you have a light that turns on or turns off, even if you're not at home, it does give that impression. And also the garden, if you've got lots of places that people can hide in a garden and watch you, a lot of peeping Toms and things like that, cut down the bushes a bit so you've got a better visibility perhaps. And the garages seem to be a classic way of getting in. We don't necessarily put good locks on the garage or on the back door that goes through. That's
whenever I leave the house, I always make sure that the curtains are closed, or and that people can't necessarily see valuables. That's the other thing. If opportunists are looking through your windows, they can see valuables. Isn't it better just to avoid that in the first place? Things like that I think are quite key.
Exactly. The most important thing is to, I think, be a bit more aware, even when you're driving home at night or during the day, before you get out your car, just look around and make sure there's nobody there that's going to grab you. Same in the supermarkets and things like that. Just be more aware. Don't leave your keys in the car at the petrol station.
Or your handbag on the front seat. I often put mine straight in the boot and lock it. So I've only got my telephone. My telephone is with me. So I think those sort of things. Also, windows open. Make sure you lock your car.
Lock your front door. Basic things, little things. You can go to our website, goodmorningspain.com, where we have a more detailed list of the things to look out for. But most importantly, be safe. Thank you so much, Maria.
My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Monica.
Hi, I'm Paula.
We are sisters and we are here to talk to you because we are the founders of Family Support Group. This is a company that began many years ago when our mom died. It was something horrible for us because nobody can help us. And in this moment, we decided that no one who faces a terrible illness can be in the same process like us.
So that was the reason that we created Family Support Group. And we bring you the doctors, caregivers, and nurses to your own house for help you.
Our mom wanted to be at home, and we had problems with the healthcare system in Spain because you must talk with a lot of doctors, you must try to investigate many things and many information, and we were absolutely alone.
We can bring you all the medical service to your house.
We want to be your family support group.
No one needs to pass away in a hospital or in a hospice. You can be in your own house with your family and with all the dignity and treatment that you need for your family. Call us. We are here for you.
Talking about end of days isn't easy. I think all of us don't think that we're ever going to end. We think we're eternal, and it's a lovely way to live. However, for our family, when things go askew, that could be very confusing, complicated, and costly, which is why it's lovely to have back with us again today Paula Chinchilla, who's going to talk about nursing and the care that one can give, and perhaps how we can address these issues before it comes to it, which is a difficult subject, isn't it, Paula? Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely
again.
to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
It's amazing how you find time for everything. You're nursing, you care for others. It's a 24/7, and yet you're always traveling around. You're in Madrid, you're in the coast, you're here, you're there, and you have time to come to the program. We're very appreciative.
Thank you very much.
We were talking, Maria's dad's been ill. My dad had 2 legs amputated, needed nursing at home. He didn't need to go into a home, but he needed help at home. And yet as things progressed, he had diabetes and things got more difficult. I realized that there was a lot of times he ended up being in the hospital and didn't have a say of what was going on. And until we realized that we could get a nurse for him at home and that the medical care he needed could be administered at home, was very confusing for the whole family. So Maria was saying that we should all write these like living wills.
Living wills, yeah. I think it's...
What is a living will?
It's your choices about what you would like to happen to you in the event of you being very unwell, near to end of life, whether you are resuscitated or not resuscitated. I had experience of this when my father was in hospital and came out of the operation, and he was in what they called REA, which is reanimation, which is intensive care. And there was a family who came, and they were actually English, and the sister was living in Madrid, and something had happened and I didn't know, but you kind of get to know people in hospitals, you know their stories, amazing, you know, experience. And she had a living will, and the family had come with a living will to give to the doctors to decide that she didn't want to be resuscitated, sorry. And I think that is something that made me think very much about wanting to know, you know, and wanting to tell my family and express what I would like to happen to me. I know it's not a great subject, and it's maybe something people don't want to talk about, but it's better to talk about it and for it to be, you know, not to be taboo. And the idea of, you know, what you guys do, being able to be at home, I think must be so much nicer, because I've experienced hospitals, and, you know, if you're there to get better, great, but you want to be able to be at home, be with your family, and for your, you know, if it is the end of your life, you want it to be the best experience that it could be. And I think being at home is, you know, the best for a lot of people.
I agree. My dad, when he was in the hospital, it was just so unmanageable on so many levels, particularly for him. Not only was he facing such a terrible situation, doing so without the family being able to be there in these unfamiliar surroundings and not speaking the language, which again comes down when you're foreign in Spain. If you don't speak the language, if you're in an old age home or you're in a hospital, it can be very lonely. And that's not a good way to get you to get better in the first place. Unfortunately, a colleague of ours passed away this week, which is really sad, and rest in peace, Enrique, terrible for his family, but he'd actually left note that he wanted to be a donor. And that was something that made me think as well, in the sense of, if something happens to me, he'd already left instructions how he wanted his body to be dealt with and how he wanted to help others.
Here in Spain, we have a big problem with the different language. We have a big community of foreign people, but the problem is we don't talk the language. So it's quite difficult for people who live here. It's not easy to talk about a plan, a future plan about illness or about healthcare, or it's not easy, but this is necessary, because if you have a family and you don't know what they want in the future, for example, me, I explain it very well to my family. I want to be at home. I don't want an RCP. I don't want to be with machines all around me and all that. It's necessary. It's not something that you want to talk when you have a lunch break, but it's necessary, because all of us, we're going to have an illness, a chronic or terminal. That's it.
Yes, and to grow old and just die of old age in your sleep, I think is wonderful, and what we would all hope for at that time.
Definitely.
Once you've had a good, full, enjoyable, satisfying life. But at the same time, there is an end for all of us, and it's something I don't talk about, and I've never talked about with my children, because it's not a subject we want to talk about. It's very final, it's depressing, it's sad, and yet seeing what happens to people if they do have an accident or if they do fall ill, you need to have maybe an idea of a plan. And if you're moving to Spain to retire, then one has to assume that there will be either a family looking after you, or an aged care home to go into, or having nurses to look after you. We need to make these provisions.
Yes, we're not. I mean, I understand it's not an easy question, but it's not just, don't show, we are not like death angels, okay? We are nurses, we are carers, we are doctors, and no matter you have a car crash, you have a diabetes, you have a chronic illness, I mean, we are here for help. We are not depressive, we are young people and nice people, and we are just coming for help, nothing else.
How is it for you finding the team? Because you guys, you and your sister have a very emotional involvement, I would have to say, with your business. It's not just that you care. We're lucky, we're talking with Knockholds before, and it's the same that we see in very few companies, unfortunately nowadays, where the bottom line is everything. And I see that with you and with Monica, that the bottom line, I think sometimes you completely forget about, because you become so involved with your patients.
Hands-on.
So hands-on.
Because I think that you have to be, I mean, they are not just patients, are people. and you have to treat it as you wanted. For example, with our mom, we don't have that treatment, so it was so freezing in a hospital. It was talking about morphine, not morphine. It was absolutely amazing. So I think you have to be involved with all the patients and all the families. I mean, you have to think as you been before and what you wanted. So no matter, you have to give it your telephone number, because something can happen during the evening and they are lost, and you have to understand that. Well, this is the way that we work in family support group.
Yeah, and
I don't understand to work in a different way.
Yeah, and I think you want to treat people like you want to be treated.
Yes,
and I think that's basic principle.
Of course, this is principle, and I think this is the most important thing. When you are working with people, you are working with families. You have to understand, no matter if they are upset one day or whatever. I mean, it's normal.
Take psychologists as well.
Yes, part of it.
But it is not only just for the patient, but also for the family who are dealing with the situation. Having somebody who's not capable or who needs care around you can be very tiring. Not everybody wants to do that. Maybe they don't want to put you into a home, but if they can't cope with themselves.
And frightening as well. Frightening. We had some nurses that were absolutely fabulous, auxiliary nurses or nurses, and some that were a little bit more abrupt. And I just wanted to speak to someone and find out, what the truth or what the diagnosis was, or, and I think that's a little bit of an issue when you don't have someone having somebody like you on board,
which
you
is
can
very
have that
different
conversation
to the Spanish system, because the Spanish doctors tend to be very authoritarian. Is that a word?
Yes.
But they are. It's don't ask questions. I know. They were I tell you, don't ask questions. You don't need to understand.
Oh yeah.
Which is very worrying for me.
I know. For us, it's totally different. I mean, I need that you answer me. You make me questions. All that questions you have, no matter if you think it's a big deal or it's a little deal, you have to make me questions. I have to bring you time for example, if I see it's not just the patient, it's the family is more important, because the family is who are going to cover more time with the patient. And they need to be, the psychics have to be treated. And you need to give them time for a coffee. Okay, let's go and we're gonna have a coffee. Just talk with me, whatever you need, because you cannot talk with your family.
It is difficult times, but no need to be alone. And I love that. That's the philosophy with you, that you're here to help.
Yes, I am.
And they're there for you, but it is. No one needs to be alone, die alone.
No.
Between associations that exist, or companies such as Monica and Paola's, please do be informed. If you have questions for the sisters, drop us a line. We'd love to send them on, because we know it's a scary time, and a lot of people do have issues that you don't share with other people, but you can share them with us. We're very happy to help you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was great getting that question in from Sarah. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for writing in. But talking about the wanting to have a company that people wanted to work for, that she wanted to know from the beginning how to treat her staff. And I like that, because it makes a big difference. I agree.
Definitely. It's really important that you have a good working environment and that people have got similar vision to you. My first experience in working was in London in the 90s, working for Virgin Records. That was very family orientated. Everybody was felt to be part of a group, and when there was an event, we were all invited to it. When there was an album launch or a party, we would all be there, and it makes for a really happy environment and a really really great place to work. You feel valued, you feel part of a team, and so it was lovely to hear about what Knuckles was saying, that they're nominated and won that award. And so it's a great feeling to know that you're working in a good place.
When I first, with our sponsors, Linear Director, and they say we cater to expats, what they need, and so I challenged them. And I rang them, we actually need this, and they want that, and then they assessed everything. But the one thing that I've come to realise is how happy their staff are. And they really feel that they're part of a team, and such a big company that belongs to a bank that has so many thousands of employees, but each of them feels special, and being in their offices and chatting, you can see it's genuine. It's not they're saying it or they feel they have to for the company. No, each person feels that they matter. If their children aren't well, they're allowed to go and be with the children. In lockdown, everyone was allowed to be at home, and they're taking consideration of children, which I think is a big deal, that you recognise that people are not employees, they're people. They're collaborators, they're part of a team.
Well, in family support group, this is the meaning. We are a group of, we are not, it's not a staff. We are all a team that we spend 24 hours. Sometimes we have more time between us with our families. So we need people who get involved, who knows. I don't care about the experience. I don't know how many years of career you have. I need that you be absolutely nice and peaceful and quiet and respectful with the patients, and this is what I want for my job.
Exactly. I was saying when Darren was saying that there are opportunities in doing the training, if you're the right person, you can grow, you can learn, but you can't have knowledge and then be a nice person. That you can't learn. You've either got it, you're a genuinely caring person, or you're not. The rest you can add in and do the studying to make it work. You always seem to work for yourself, Kava, since you were tiny. Have you had experience of working with nasty bosses or good bosses?
Do you know what? I think I've actually, touched wood, I've been really lucky so far. I've worked with really, really nice people, but I think, as you say, even though I have worked for kind of myself for a long time now, but you always kind of seem to work with the same kind of people, just because, as you say, like, you've got the same morals, you've got the same energy.
You're drawn to them.
And as you say, if you have a really nice bond with them, then you just kind of continue doing like the same kind of project styles as you get something new. So,
and I think that phrase, I mean, and it's a classic phrase, there's no I in team. And if you're in a nice team, it's about all of you, and everybody works on their strengths and weaknesses, and you enjoy being with other people rather than it being about you and your ego. And I think that makes a massive difference.
Yeah, we have to, for example, us, we have to work in the same frequency. I mean, we are spending a lot of time, and we have to be in the same frequency for have a good job and for transmit the people that for what we are here. And sense of humor for me is so important.
Definitely.
Because you're working with a difficult
situation.
And you have to be with a lot of sense of humor and say to people, come up and let's go.
And it's fundamental in a profession such as yours, particularly when there is such tragedy going on frequently in your day-to-day, that you can still manage with your team to keep your spirits up, so you can help keep your patients' spirits up, which is fundamental.
Of course, you have to give it a
right
smile.
attitude.
If every day, for us, we have we say, if you are the reason for a patient, make a smile. This is very important.
Exactly. And we hope we've made you all smile this morning with our show. It's been fun. It's been lovely to have you with us. We have a lovely team at Good Morning Spain. Don't ask them off air what they think. But I think we have a lovely working atmosphere, and it shows. A beautiful team that's here to entertain you and keep you informed if you're thinking of moving to Spain or already living here or just coming on holiday. It's lovely to have you along with us. So we will be back again next week with more. You can go to our website, goodmorningspain.com, with a lot of articles actually on the topics that we discuss in the program if you would like to have further information. And please follow us on our YouTube channel and our social media. It's great to have you along and your support. Well, that's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have yourself a great week. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.